Hello everyone, welcome back to AutoTrend TV. I'm your Viprajesh again from Chandra Hyundai Coimbatore showroom today, and I'm here with the newly launched Hyundai Venue Turbo Petrol IMT variant. This here is the top spec SX optional variant of the IMT version and comes loaded with features similar to any other SX optional trim. This IMT gearbox is essentially a third gearbox option for the turbo petrol 1-liter engine of the Hyundai Venue. The Hyundai Venue is one among the best sellers for Hyundai India, and despite the new updates in terms of transmission, you still get the very same exteriors with the bold looks. You get the very same massive cascading grille with quite a lot of chrome finish, and you also get the very same projector headlamp setup mounted just below the turn indicators. You also get square-shaped LED DRLs around the headlamps. And the Hyundai Venue also gets projector fog lamps mounted lower down in the front bumper. You also get a dual tone treatment for the front bumper along with a four skid plate design. Overall from the front, the Hyundai Venue looks properly aggressive and nicely designed with SUV-like design elements. Moving on towards the sides, you get to see the very same 16-inch dual tone machine finished alloy wheels, which are available from the SX variant itself. These alloy wheels add to the muscular appeal of the Hyundai Venue when looked at it from the sides. From the sides, the Hyundai Venue has always been a pretty boxy SUV, true to its SUV proportions. On the front fender, you get to see this IMT badging on the driver side only, which of course is the only giveaway that this is an IMT transmission equipped variant. Apart from that, standard features on the SX optional variant include chrome finished massive door handles. However, the DCT automatic transmission equipped SX variant also gets these chrome finished door handles. Moving towards the roof, you get these very large silver finished roof rails as standard from the mid-spec variant itself. However, only the top spec variants get this electric sunroof. Coming towards the back, you get to see these very familiar looking squarish LED tail lamps, which also have a funky design treatment. However, I feel that these tail lamps are a size smaller for a compact SUV and kind of remind you of the Volkswagen Polo. On the right side of the tailgate, you get this turbo badging in bright red, which is the only giveaway for this 1-liter turbocharged petrol engine equipped Hyundai Venue. And apart from that, you get the very large Venue lettering on the center of the tailgate. The rear bumper also receives the exact same dual tone treatment with a four skid plate design with the reversing lights mounted in it. The reverse parking camera is mounted in the number plate housing, whereas you get 4 reverse parking sensors as standard across all variants. And being a top spec variant, you also get rear windshield wiper, washer and defogger, whereas the lower SX variant does not receive these features. So that was all about the exterior looks of the Hyundai Venue IMT transmission equipped SX optional turbo petrol variant. Despite being boxy in terms of overall design, the Hyundai Venue still looks very unique with a lot of unique design elements. Now quickly, let's have a look at the interior of the Hyundai Venue IMT transmission equipped variant. Yes folks, right now I'm inside the newly launched Hyundai Venue IMT variant with the 1-liter turbocharged petrol engine, and this being the top spec SX optional variant. The interior largely looks exactly the same as any other SX optional variant of the Hyundai Venue. You get a dual tone interior theme as an option on the top spec variants, but this here is an all black cabin and it is premium in terms of feel and overall quality. The major difference, however, lies in the transmission. Despite looking like any other 6-speed transmission lever from the Hyundai Venue range, this is a manual gear lever, as you already know, but as you can see, there is no clutch pedal. Let me just show you. You get only an accelerator pedal, a brake pedal, but no clutch. It is kind of weird to see at first, but still you probably may get used to it once you start driving. And this here is a dead pedal for your left foot. So it is an option for people who are frustrated with city traffic by using the clutch regularly, but you don't want to compromise on the fun of a manual transmission. So this is a gearbox for them. I am not yet allowed to drive this car because this car is brand new and not yet registered for test drive purposes. But soon I will be able to provide a demo test drive review, a full detailed review of this IMT transmission. For now, let's just have a look at all the features available on this SX optional variant. So starting with the steering wheel, of course, on the top spec variants, you now get this D-cut flat bottom steering wheel carried over from the Hyundai Creta, and it looks really nice and feels chunky too. You get nice superb quality leather wrapping from the SX variant itself. That is the SX variant of the Hyundai Venue, and while looking exactly the same, it gets a lot of features
on this specific top spec variant. Now, apart from the steering wheel, on the steering wheel itself you get cruise control functions from the SX variant itself. So that is nice to have. On the left side you get other steering mounted audio controls, which also controls voice commands, as you can see. So that is nice. You also get automatic headlamps on this variant, along with this sophisticated instrument cluster, which has a color display for the car itself. Let me just try show you that. As you can see, it gives you a 3D image of the Hyundai Venue itself. It is a nice thing to see. Well, another thing is that the dials are properly analog. You get a analog dial for the speedometer, analog for the tachometer. No digital thing over here. However, you also have the option of displaying the speedometer in digital format in this digital MID. But I think that analog dials are better to read while driving at night at higher speeds. So do let me know what do you think about that. And the wiper stocks are exactly the same. You do not get automatic wipers on any variant of the Hyundai Venue, but still they are okay. However, what you get on the top spec Hyundai Venue is this 8-inch touchscreen system, which also includes Bluelink connectivity for the Hyundai Venue's manual and IMT variants. The DCT variant, on the other hand, gets Bluelink connectivity on the lower SX variant itself. This Bluelink connectivity is also connected to the IRVM, which, as you can see, also gets telematic controls for SOS, towing and emergency functions. And of course, you also get a Bluelink call center button, probably to contact your Hyundai Bluelink call center. So that is nice. You also get climate control from the SX variant itself, and on the top spec SX optional variant you also get a wireless charging facility for your smartphone. That is a nice thing to have. No other car in this category has this. So coming behind from that, you get, of course, the leather wrap gear knob similar to the steering wheel. It is brilliant in quality and nice to look at as well. This is the exact same gear lever carried over from the Hyundai Creta, so it gets a superb piano black finish with a 4-metal surround. So that is nice. You also get a leather boot for the gear lever with contrast stitching. These are certain nice things which adds to the ambience of this cabin. You can also see the contrast stitching on the seats. These are, as you can see, part leather, part fabric seats. The center part is of course fabric. Only the further ends are of leather. These are artificial leather, of course, but still they are superb in quality and nice to have. You also get contrast stitching, which properly adds to the ambience again. And on the armrest of the doors as well, these are certain nice things which any manufacturer should take note of. So talking about seats, of course, you get height adjustable driver seat on this top spec variant, and even the lower SX variant has height adjustment option. And coming to the driver door, of course, I already showed you the armrest, which is nice and soft and cushy. The leather quality is beautiful. You get proper metal door handles, which are chunky and superb to operate. Just have a look at the door. You also get nice 1-liter bottle holders as standard across all variants on all doors, so that is nice. This car also gets auto folding ORVMs, and they can also be power folded. This car also gets one touch down and up function for the driver window alone. Let me just turn on the accessory switch. So this here is how the instrument cluster and the touchscreen system looks like when everything is turned on. It is nice to have. So this is the 18-inch touchscreen system. I'll come back to the features later. Now let me just show you the power window function. As you can see, it gets one touch down and one touch up. So that is superb to have. Very helpful while driving on highways using through toll booths. And you of course get push button start, exclusive only for the top spec SX optional variant. And you also get electronic stability program with vehicle stability management and traction control on the top spec variant only. However, the DCT variants have this feature from the SX variant itself, so that is a thing to be noted. And this here is the switch for controlling the interior lighting for the instrument cluster and the touchscreen system. So that's about that. And this here is the headlamp leveler scroller. The overall quality of all the materials used inside this cabin are really nice and well thought out. You get this nice textured plastic on the dash top, while you get nice smooth materials on the doors and properly superb quality feeling leather on the door pads and even on the center armrest. This is apparently a sort of leather finish. It is soft and cushy, but still it is integrated into the armrest itself. It is nice to use and it can be used for almost all sort of drivers. So that is nice. Weirdly, only the manual transmission version of the top spec SX optional variant of the Hyundai Venue gets a sliding function for the armrest, whereas this IMT or the DCT variants does not. It is okay, and under the armrest you get a decent amount of storage, so that is nice. You also get a felt lining so that whatever you place in there does not get scratched. Talking about other storage spaces, you get a decent sized glove box, which is nice to have along with cooling function, so that is okay. And this here is a tray for your smartphones and other stuff, whatever you want to put there. You get nice 1 liter bottle holders on every door, and I already showed you the wireless charging pad over here. And this here is another small pocket for holding your coins, maybe. It is okay. And this here is a couple cup holders, but unfortunately on the top spec variant you only get to use one cup holder, because this cup holder is utilized by this air purifier thing. The air purifier is available from the SX DCT variant onwards, whereas the regular manual or IMT versions of the SX variant does not get an air purifier. Air purifier for the IMT variant is available only on the top spec SX optional variant. So that is another thing to note. And of course, coming to adjustments, you get tilt function for the steering wheel, whereas the driver seat is completely height adjustable, and the IRVM is also day night adjustable. You also get a day night switch for the IRVM, which is nice. But I would have liked an auto dimming electrochromic IRVM on the top spec variant at least, because it already has all these buttons, which already makes it kind of heavy and bulky. It is a personal preference though, it is fine. And coming to the sun visors, the driver's side gets a ticket holder, and the quality itself is very strong and firm. It is actually a hard material. The passenger side gets a large vanity mirror, however, that is nice and easy to use. Coming to other features on the roof, you get interior cabin lights, which are yellow, and they have separate switches for them, which is fine. And you of course get an electric sunroof, which is one touch in operation and is decent in size. However, I would not recommend standing through this sunroof, leaving your neck outside. It is not safe, and the sunroof does not serve that purpose. The sunroof is basically for additional interior lighting and providing the cabin a better ambience, and it also can be helpful during hot days where you park the car in bright sunlight and you want to cool the cabin faster once you get inside. So that is the main purpose of the sunroof. So I would not recommend just peeping your neck outside while the car being driven. So that's all about the sunroof thing. And this here is the automatic climate control. It is properly effective, and you also get rear AC vents from the mid-spec variant itself, so that is nice to have. You also can operate the climate control using the BlueLink connectivity or voice commands, probably using your smartphone itself, so that is also a good thing to have. Coming to the touchscreen system, talking about BlueLink, let me just get inside. These here are the manual controls for the touchscreen system, which are easy to use. You get all the things you need, such as map, navigation, setup, media, radio. Everything is available at the first glance itself. Let me just get inside. So navigation, as you can see, is currently not available due to the SD card not being inserted. Navigation is preparing, so let me just leave that alone. This here is the main menu of this 8-inch touchscreen system. It is superbly slick to use. It responds almost immediately, just like your smartphone. And this system of course gets Android Auto, Apple CarPlay as standard, while also getting Hyundai BlueLink system. So that is beautiful. You also get navigation, which obviously needs an SD card to be inserted for the navigation being functional. Apart from that, talking about audio quality, you get 6 speakers, which include 4 speakers and 2 tweeters, which are integrated at the front. And these speakers are tuned by Archimist, so the audio quality is decent, even though not up to Harman or JBL standards. The audio quality is decent, and you also get various other sound settings, such as balancer, fader, equalizer settings, advanced volume levels. Everything is there, and you also get Archimist sound mode, where you can actually set various themes, such as you get natural, lounge, club and live. I would better leave it to natural. Let it be over there. And you also get speed dependent volume control. That is a feature which automatically increases the speaker sounds once you go up to higher speeds, so that is quite helpful. And you also get navigation volume. All the audio settings are included in the sound setting itself. Let me just get back to menu. Okay, that is not the thing. Okay, this here is the menu screen, and you can see the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, driving info. This car also judges your driving style and driving pattern based on your economy and braking things apparently. And this here is the DRVM, which is a driver rear view monitor, where you can actually activate the reverse parking camera even while moving forward. Let me just try starting the engine for now. This here is the 1 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. And the NVH of all Hyundai engines have always been great. Even though this being a 3-cylinder engine, you barely hear the engine note. On the outside only you may hear the typical 3-cylinder thrum, but on the inside there is literally nothing. It is very, very quiet. In order to show you the reverse parking camera, I'll just slot this car into reverse. I'm actually nervous because this is kind of weird. I'll just press the brake and slot it into reverse. Okay. This here is the reverse parking camera. The quality is decent, if not the best, but still it provides better clarity than on certain other cars. I would be able to properly judge this transmission only if I get to drive it, so for that please stay tuned. Let me just turn on the aircon because it is quite hot here today. And that was it. And talking about the MID screen, I already showed you the screen, but I would like to show you a bit more detailed, because this here is a new transmission, and this also gets a neutral indicator above on the top, which is kind of weird for a manual transmission, but this being an IMT, you can expect this. This MID can be controlled using the buttons on the steering wheel. As you can see, you get a whole lot of options, including the typical options such as trip meters, average mileage display, distance to empty, and even a digital speedometer. So that is nice. And if you shift any gear, if you change any gear, it immediately shows you as on what gear you are in. So this here is the first gear, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Apparently, while changing gears while driving, it is not necessary that you have to press the brake, but I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. I'm still nervous because the car is on the first floor of the showroom. So that was all about all the features at the front part of the Hyundai Venue's top spec SX optional variants cabin. Let me just get to the back seat right now to check out the overall space, features and comfort. Yes folks, right now I'm in the back seat of the new Hyundai Venue IMT transmission equipped SX optional turbocharged variant, and this is how the dashboard looks like. The overall design is quite neat and a bit funky, if I would like to call that, and it gets almost all the features, well, literally all the features on this top spec variant. It also includes safety features such as 6 airbags, electronic stability program, traction control, vehicle stability management, and so on. So that is quite nice. However, you do not get 6 airbags on the SX variant, which is one variant lower to this. And you also get ISOFIX child seat mounts as standard on the top spec and the mid spec variants, so that is okay as well. Coming to the rear seats, of course, the Hyundai Venue has not been the best in terms of overall space, and that is the exact same thing over here. The legroom is just about decent for my height, which is 5'10" for reference, and I have adjusted the driver seat for my height and comfort, so the space is just about adequate. However, the footroom is quite decent. You can easily stretch your feet underneath the front seat, and the hedge point is quite nice. It is easy to get inside this car, and even the backrest angle is decent. You also get couple adjustable headrests for the rear seat on the top spec SX and this SX optional variants. However, a rear center armrest, as I would like to show you, but I am unable to show you, this armrest is available only on the top spec SX optional variant. The SX variant clearly lacks this feature. The rear AC vents are standard from the mid-spec S variant itself, so that is also very nice, and the throw from these AC vents are also pretty decent. You can individually shut off these AC vents if you don't want them using this scroller over here, and underneath there is also a 12-volt charging socket. So everything is well thought out. However, the overall cabin width is noticeably not as wide as other competition such as the Tata Nexon or even the Mahindra XUV 300. However, 4 people will be at really good comfort in the Hyundai Venue. So coming to other small nifty features in the Hyundai Venue's backseat, you get a separate cabin lamp for the rear passengers. You also get the very same chunky door handle for the rear doors, along with this leather padding with the contrast stitching on the door armrests. You also get 1 liter bottle holders on every door, as I already said, so that is quite helpful. And that is all about the rear seats of the Hyundai Venue top spec SX optional IMT variant. So let's just pop open the boot before I talk about the engine.
To open the boot of the Hyundai Venue, if it's locked, you need to have the smart key in your pocket before popping the button in the handle area, and that's it. You get very good amount of boot space, 350 liters to be precise, and it is the segment standard today. You can see that the shape is also very square and very easy to load with just a minimum amount of loading lip. And if you really need to increase the boot space for loading larger luggage, you also have the option of 60-40 split folding rear seats only on this top spec SX optional variant. When you fold the rear seats, even though there is a slight step, you can have a whole lot of luggage space for loading larger luggage. Under the boot floor, you get to see a steel spare wheel which is of 15-inch size. Apparently, the Hyundai Venue is the only car in its category to provide 15-inch spare wheel on even the top spec SX optional variant, whereas every other compact SUV provides 16-inch spare wheel at least. Apart from that, the Hyundai Venue also lacks any sort of hooks or tethering points in the boot space, while you get a yellow boot lamp on the right side. So that was all about the boot space of the Hyundai Venue SX optional top spec variant. Now let's have a look at the engine bay.
In order to judge this car's NVH properly, I am right now again in the driver's seat of the Hyundai Venue Turbo, and let me just turn on the engine. I am leaving the car in neutral. You may have already seen or felt the NVH inside the cabin. It is very well refined, and only on the outside you may hear the 3-cylinder thrum. So let me just get outside and open the bonnet. So that is the typical 3-cylinder thrum you hear on the outside, and this here is the exact same 1 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged GDI petrol engine, which produces around 120 PS of maximum power and a top figure of 175 Newton meters through a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed IMT transmission, which is brand new. And of course you also get the option of a DCT 7-speed automatic on the lower variants. So this engine is claimed to be very peppy and exceptionally refined, but on the outside and once you open the bonnet, you can of course hear the 3-cylinder thrum. So that was all about the engine. Let me just conclude this review after talking about the pricing.
So that was a detailed first look review of the Hyundai Venue SX optional top spec IMT gearbox equipped turbo petrol variant. People who are not willing to compromise on the fun of a manual transmission but would like to get rid of the clutch pedal can definitely have a look at this IMT gearbox exclusively developed by Hyundai. While the turbo petrol SX variant with the 6-speed manual transmission starts from Rs 11.37 lakh, the same variant with the 6-speed IMT gearbox costs rupees 24,000 higher. Whereas for this top spec SX optional IMT variant, the on-road price is around rupees 13,48,000, which is 28,000 rupees higher than the 6-speed manual counterpart. We will get to know the original drive feel of this innovative IMT gearbox only when we get to drive it on road. So stay tuned for a detailed drive video of this IMT gearbox equipped Hyundai Venue. Meanwhile, this is Viprajesh signing off. See you on another video. Thank you for watching.